So the big question is, what movie from the video store can we talk about today? What movie can I explore to try and help my channel in the algorithm from its slow and painful death that it's going through at the moment? I think it's time to explore a funny movie from my childhood. Ah, yes, of course, Happy Gilmore. I eat movies like this for breakfast. In fact, I love Happy Gilmore so much, I even have his hockey jersey. So let's check it out. And if you don't want to, then you can have a warm glass of shut the hell up. In 1996, Adam Sandler was whacking balls. Golf balls, that is, when he starred as Happy Gilmore, an angry hockey player with a raging temper, whose life is going nowhere, but he still has a heart of gold. After learning that his grandmother is losing her house, he discovers he's got quite the swing when it comes to golf, where a pro golfer called Chubbs, played by Carl Weathers, tries to train him as a golfer. Happy enters a golf tournament in order to win some money to save his grandmother's house from being auctioned, where the golf community and public start to embrace Happy's enthusiasm and out-of-control antics. However, Happy must also face golf champion Shooter McGavin, who eats pieces of shit for breakfast, who will do whatever it takes to defeat Happy and win the tournament. In this movie that teaches us that if you can't put your golf ball in the hole, then just yell at it and say, "That's your home! Are you too good for your home? Answer me!" So now it's okay to appreciate Adam Sandler again thanks to Uncut Gems. We're going to look back at 10 things that you didn't know about Happy Gilmore. I can remember watching it for the first time when I was 13, and I think that I was just about the perfect age for it, and I loved it. And it was my introduction to Adam Sandler. So, let's check it out. Number 10. The movie was made possible because Adam Sandler was fired from Saturday Night Live. In the earlier part of the 90s, Adam Sandler was a cast member on Saturday Night Live, where he and collaborator and former college roommate Tim Herlihy would write most of his material together. However, in 1995, Sandler was fired from Saturday Night Live.
Just stay out of my way, or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
How about I just go eat some hay? I can make things out of clay and lay by the bay, I just may. What do you say?
So he decided it was time to cross over to movies, where he and Herlihy wrote Billy Madison, which was a moderate success. So the following year for their next comedy movie, the two writers conceived the concept of a hockey player who was terrible at hockey, but had quite the golf swing, and thus the concept of Happy Gilmore was born. Incidentally, Sandler would go on to return to Saturday Night Live and host the show on May 29, 2019, with him breaking a record of returning to the show after a whopping 24 years. Also, where exactly Sandler got the concept of Happy Gilmore from also makes for another interesting story. Number 9. Happy Gilmore is also based on a real person. Growing up, Adam Sandler was inspired by comedy hit movies such as National Lampoon's Animal House and fellow golf movie Caddyshack. However, the character of Happy Gilmore himself is based on a childhood friend of Sandler's called Kyle McDonough. Kyle was a hockey player but would often go out to play golf with Sandler, and Sandler noticed that when his friend would swing and hit the ball, he really sent the ball flying, to which a young Sandler concluded that Kyle is probably somehow using some of his hockey skills to make the ball fly so much, sort of creating a hybrid maneuver of both sports as we see in Happy Gilmore. It makes you wonder if Happy Gilmore should have started with a based on a true story title. Hey, if the Conjuring movies and many other horror movies like it can get away with it, then Happy Gilmore can too. Number 8. Before Happy Gilmore, the director had shot a werewolf and dealt with a problem child. To polish up the Happy Gilmore script, Judd Apatow was hired to iron out all the little wrinkles in the script and to make it that bit better, although his work went uncredited. Apatow would go on to write or work on other movies such as 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and This Is 40, to name but a few. Happy Gilmore was distributed by Universal Pictures, whom had also distributed Sandler's previous movie, Billy Madison, and would go on to distribute his next movie, Bulletproof. The music for the movie was composed by Devo frontman Mark Mothersbaugh. Yes, as in the guy who sang that 80s classic Whip It. Yeah, he went on to compose Happy Gilmore, how random. And before composing the music for Happy Gilmore, he composed the theme song for the cartoon Super Mario World, and more recently scored movies like Catfish and Thor Ragnarok. Happy Gilmore was directed by Dennis Dugan, who started off his career as an actor, where he played Chris Halloran in the 1981 werewolf classic, The Howling. Yeah, he was the guy who shot the werewolf on live TV at the end. In the later 80s, he switched from actor to director, with his first directional film being the out-of-control wacky comedy Problem Child. He even appears in Happy Gilmore as Doug Thompson, the commissioner of the Pro Golf Tour. And after Happy Gilmore, he would go on to direct several other Adam Sandler movies, some of them okay, some, well, let's just say not really okay. And on a side note, in some parts of the world, Happy Gilmore was translated to Lucky Gilmore. Lucky Gilmore. That is still a pretty awesome, heartfelt title, just as much as Happy Gilmore. Number 7. A real pro golfer was horrified with the script, which led to changes. In the original script of Happy Gilmore, the tournament that Happy enters isn't called the Pro Tour, but instead the Masters Tournament, which is a real actual tournament that takes place where the winner gets a green jacket, and thus in the original script, Happy won a green jacket to go with the real-life tournament. However, Happy Gilmore's writers, Adam Sandler and Tim Herlihy, took the script to real-life pro golfer Mark Lai to act as a consultant on the movie, and he was so outraged by the script, he told Sandler and Herlihy, quote, "You gotta be crazy, you can't make a movie like that." What bothered the golfer so much is that the tournament was based on the real tournament of the Masters, and that Gilmore won a green jacket, heaven forbid. He felt that was disrespectful to the tournament and reducing it to a mere joke, going on to explain that they were desecrating the USGA. So because of this, the tournament Happy enters is a made-up fictional one, and instead of a green jacket, he wins a gold one. And thus he kept the real-life golfers happy. Number 6. Searching for a villain who eats pieces of... you know what. I can't swear too much or YouTube won't like it. When it came time to casting Happy's villainous opponent, Shooter McGavin, the studio really wanted Kevin Costner in the memorable role. However, in an ironic twist, Costner couldn't star in Happy Gilmore, as at the time he was making his own golf movie, that being the romantic comedy Tin Cup. And apparently Evil Dead star Bruce Campbell was quite keen to play the part, which I can actually totally see. However, actor Christopher McDonald was offered the role. At the time of watching Happy Gilmore, I only knew McDonald as one of the T-Birds from Grease 2, you know, that weird Grease sequel, and the unpleasant husband from Thelma and Louise. McDonald was originally hesitant to play the part, as at that stage of his career, he was sick of playing villains and general undesirable characters. However, after meeting up with Sandler and getting along with him, he changed his mind and, well, he's brilliant in the movie. He plays the part of the ultimate smug super jerk perfectly, and I would go on to argue that he's as funny and as memorable as Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore.
Well, moron, good for Happy Gilmore, oh my god!
Happy Gilmore is a better movie for having McDonald in it, and I actually think that it's become his most memorable role. Number 5. Carl Weathers' leap to comedy. In Happy Gilmore, Carl Weathers played Happy's friend and mentor Chubbs, a golf coach who likes to teach people that it's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips.
Get off of me!
Hey, just easing the tension, baby.
Well, use it on someone else.
Happy Gilmore was something of a game changer for Weathers, as he was usually associated with tough guy roles, such as Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies, as well as starring in action movies like Action Jackson and Predator. Weathers grew a fondness of his role in Happy Gilmore, as it showed that the actor is able to take his acting into different directions, and to do comedy, which admittedly he does very well. I think it's a shame that he hadn't appeared in more comedy roles, to be honest. One of the character's most defining traits is that he is missing an arm, which he lost to an alligator while playing golf, and thus he now has a wooden arm. This was written as an in-joke by Sandler and Herlihy, on the account that in the movie Predator, Weathers' character Dylan loses his arm to the alien hunter. Sort of making the Chubbs character a pseudo-continuation of the Dylan character, where he replaced his arm with a wooden one.
Oh! Don't worry about that. Made of wood. It's real sturdy.
And of course, Carl Weathers would return as Chubb several years later for fellow Adam Sandler movie Little Nicky. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of that movie, so moving on. Number 4, filming location. Just as with many movies, Happy Gilmore was in fact filmed in the Great White North, Canada, with most of the filming taking place in British Columbia. Which actually honestly blew me away when I found it out, as I always felt like Happy Gilmore looked like it took place in Florida. Most of the golf course filming was shot at a resort and country club in Pitt Meadows. Interestingly, the interior filming was not as glamorous, as most of the interior sets were built in an abandoned hospital in Vancouver. I don't know why, but I always find the thought of abandoned hospitals to be creepy, but to give the movie credit, they pull it off nicely and I never would have guessed. But thinking of it, I guess the retirement home where Happy's grandmother gets sent to does kind of look like a hospital.
Get me out of here! Here, just eat that! Leave us alone!
Number 3, Happy Gilmore helped The Price is Right's ratings. A standout moment in Happy Gilmore is a scene where, out of frustration, Happy Gilmore picks a fight with The Price is Right host Bob Barker, where Barker proceeds to beat the crap out of Happy Gilmore. It's become a classic moment in cinematic comedy. In fact, if you watch the movie's original trailer, you'll see that the main selling point that the trailer is focusing on is the Happy Gilmore and Bob Barker fight. Yeah, look at that. Originally, Barker turned the cameo down, but when he learned that in the movie he'll be winning the fist fight, he then accepted the role, and it seemed to have paid off, as after Happy Gilmore, there was an increase in The Price is Right's ratings, particularly with younger viewers.
Now you've had enough, bitch.
And in addition to that, both Adam Sandler and Bob Barker won the very first MTV award for Best Fight in a Movie. In fact, the scene has become so iconic that in 2015, Sandler and Barker returned for round 2 in a special video to raise awareness for autism, where of course a fight ensues. And being on the spectrum myself, I highly approve of lending a hand in autism awareness by having Barker and Sandler beating the bejesus out of each other. Number 2, Happy Gilmore and Subway. There are actually quite a few famous faces who turn up in Happy Gilmore, such as Ben Stiller, who has an uncredited role as a psychotic aged care worker, where I always felt that in Happy Gilmore he looked like an angry Freddie Mercury. Richard Kiel, best known for playing the villain Jaws in the Bond movies, appears as the ill-tempered Mr. Larson, and Julie Bowen plays the love interest Virginia, Happy's PR manager turned girlfriend. At this time, Bowen also starred in that terrible American Werewolf sequel, An American Werewolf in Paris. Ugh. And the heckler who keeps calling Happy a jackass was played by Joe Flaherty, whom has actually been in many things but is probably best known as the Western Union guy at the end of Back to the Future Part 2. Gilmore's homeless caddy Otto was played by Alan Covert, who would also appear in other Sandler movies, such as The Wedding Singer. However, something Happy Gilmore also features is a lot of Subway. Like, there is Subway scattered throughout the movie, where we see Happy wear a Subway shirt, yeah, I guess he really likes it, carrying Subway, eating at Subway. Heck, the character even stars in a Subway commercial within the movie. Some people claim this to actually be very clever product placement, whereas other sources like Rolling Stone magazine label it as egregious. In fact, even Roger Ebert pointed out that Happy Gilmore features a lot of product placement, not just from Subway but other brands like Diet Coke to Budweiser. Sandler would go on to be known to use a lot of product placement later in his career, but even in his early days of filmmaking, you can see all the product placement rearing its head thanks to Subway. Still, I'd rather Happy Gilmore be the face of Subway than that creepy guy who's now in jail. Ugh. Number 1, Legacy. Happy Gilmore was actually very successful when it came out, making $41 million on a $12 million budget. The film got mixed reviews from critics. Some loved the humor and found the movie to be lots of fun, however there were complaints that Sandler's character was too angry and mean-spirited. However, despite this, everyone seemed to love the Bob Barker fight and considered it a highlight. The movie also currently holds a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes of 61% and an audience score of 85%. Happy Gilmore has gone on to become a comedy classic. It seems that even in times when Sandler's career may be on a downward spiral, there always seems to be love for that one time he was an angry golfer. I think it was the right movie that came out at the right time, when the world was more carefree and Sandler was brand new and his antics weren't done to death. And still today it's my favourite Sandler movie, followed by Wedding Singer, another movie I hope to cover soon. So if you want some carefree, wacky, goofy comedy, then you should check out Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore has one of my favourite movie scenes ever, where he's playing mini golf and getting increasingly angry with the giant clown head, till he loses it and destroys this clown.
You're gonna die, clown! You think that's funny? I don't hear you laughing now!
Having a terrible phobia of clowns myself, I always found this scene to be therapeutic. So with that, that was my look into Happy Gilmore. Hope you liked it and maybe even learned something new. Anyway, I'm Minty, and talk about a hole-in-one. Yeah, this is what Subway packaging looks like now. Well, at least in Australia it does. See ya!